Hi there, welcome to The Guilty Knitter. I'm Vivian and I'm your host, and I'm coming to you from Montreal, Canada. If you're wanting to find me on Instagram, I am at Guilty Knitter, and on Ravelry, I'm at The Guilty Knitter, all one word. If you're a new viewer, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. And I'm sorry for the long dry spell, since my last podcast. It's not like there's a dearth of things to watch, of course, but anyway, I've not been a prolific blogger or vlogger since the beginning of COVID. For some reason, I completely lost my mojo. You'd think I would be, more into it instead of less, but no, it didn't happen that way. I guess things have affected people in different ways, and that's the way it affected me, I guess. But I haven't stopped knitting, at least. I've been pretty busy with the needles all this time. It's been a real comfort to me, actually. So that's been great. But, one thing I really wanted to do, and I was planning on doing this year, was to have co-hosts come in, guest co-hosts. Or to find a regular one that would be interested in doing this, but so far I haven't found anyone. I had a couple of guests last year. Actually, no, one was at the beginning of this year. It was Catherine. Or maybe were they both? I think they were both this year. Gosh, it seems like 5 years ago. Because I had my daughter Erica, and then my friend Catherine came on. Anyway, beginning of this year. You can check those out. They were fun. It was really fun to have somebody else there. So I've invited my cousin Zoe to join us today. She is not a prolific knitter, but she does knit and she knows a little bit about it. And I thought it would be just fun to have somebody to make nice comments about my lovely knitting. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. But she's, of course, always late, so I thought I might as well just start without her. Yeah, so what I've been doing since lockdown? Well, aside from knitting regularly and watching various shows on Netflix and things, right now I'm watching, believe it or not, I'm watching All Creatures Great and Small, which is a show from like the 70s, I think, British show. Yeah, it's all about a country vet in Yorkshire. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I like it. Yeah, I think it's on Prime. You can get it on Prime, but on BritBox through Prime or something like that. David sorted it out so I could watch it. I quite like it. I'm a little bit addicted right now, but I basically just watch one or two things at a time. I don't watch a lot, I guess. But I find I watch plenty. I pretty much watch TV every night. If it's not that, it'll be baseball games, because Dave's really into baseball. And I like it, so I don't mind, because I can just knit, and it's the perfect thing to knit to. Other than that, well, Dave and I have taken a couple of little trips to his brother's cottage, and what else has been happening? Well, we're back at work. We're doing some concerts, which is amazing, because some orchestras haven't done anything. Yeah, I'm a trombonist with the Montreal Symphony Orchestra, which you may or may not know. But I am, it's good to be back in the hall. There's only 250 people allowed in the hall, and only 50 people on stage. So it's very different, because normally we're about 90 people. On stage, and 2,000 people in the hall. So that makes a big difference, and it's a little weird, but we're getting, at the same time, it's all very familiar, because Beethoven, I played that piece, Beethoven 6th is what we played yesterday. I've played it so many times. So it was kind of a nice way to ease back into the routine, I guess. What else has happened? Oh, my dad, my father-in-law passed away a couple weeks ago, so that was pretty sad. But, he was 84, he'd been really sick, and he'd lived a very good life. Yeah, the sad part is that he left behind 2 young children, believe it or not. Lovely young twin boys, and they're only 15. So that's sad, and of course his wife. So they'll be the hardest hit of the family. It's hard to lose a parent at such a young age, and it's going to be rough for them. But Dave is doing quite well, and they're getting ready for the memorial service. Him and his brothers, the older ones, are doing some music for the occasion. And I think that it'll be really nice to get together. And in fact, my daughter is coming to visit, and she's going to quarantine in the basement for 2 weeks so that she can go to the funeral, which I think is really nice. I mean, that's not the only reason she's coming. She's obviously coming to see us, and it just worked out that timing-wise, if she didn't come now, she certainly wouldn't be coming for a long time. So it just worked out well for her. So I'm really happy, even though it makes me nervous to think of her traveling during this time. Thank goodness she's allowed to come because she's Canadian, but she lives in London, the UK. I don't know if you know that or not, but anyway, so that's why it's kind of a big deal, like the quarantine rules and everything. But she can quarantine in our basement, and it's not going to be too terrible. She'll be able to go outside in the backyard and the deck, and hopefully she'll not find it super boring, but she probably will. She says she can probably write a whole album while she's down there. She's a songwriter. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Anyway, so that's it. I'm going to move on to knitting. This is why I'm here, to show you my knitting. And I have a couple of finished objects. I have a couple of whips, and I have some things that I'm going to make soon, hopefully. So we'll see about that. Well, here she is. Hey there. Hey, how are you doing? I'm doing great, thanks. Oh, thanks for having me. Wait, did you just go through my clothes? Because you're wearing my new top, right? I don't know much about knitting, but I know what I like. She just wanders in and just grabs my stuff, apparently. Is that what took you so long? Were you just going through my stuff? I think it fits me perfectly. We always were around the same size. What's it made out of? Yeah, it's made out of silk. That's why it's so nice. It's made out of silk by Habu, and with the top part is the Shabui pebble, nice, which is silk, cashmere, merino. It's that maroon color. It's by Mona Schmidt, Espace Tricot. You know, it's just like 2 blocks from our house. It turned out really well, except the stripe, you know, the color changed right across the boobs. You know, I don't know, the stripes don't bother me. Yeah. I really like the colors. Well, I should have planned it better for sure. But other than that, I'm happy with it. Why don't you try on that timber sweater with it? The one I just finished. I was going to show you that anyway. Try that on. And you can, I think it's, wait, just go check it. I think it's on my bed, but you might have to look around. It's in my room somewhere. Meanwhile, I'll show you a picture of my other FO. That's right, I have to show you because I don't have it anymore because I made it. It's like a little hat. It's a bobble hat by Donna Smith. And I'll put the picture in right here. It worked out really well. It was, you know, there's such a fun pattern. I think it's the 4th or 5th time that I've made that pattern. The rest of the time it was for adults, but this, my friend just had her first grandchild, so I thought it'd be fun to make her a little hat. It's probably way too big, but whatever. Yeah, you can get the modifications for making the smaller version on Donna Smith's website. It's a free pattern. And it's a super nice pattern too, so I recommend it highly. It's a good one to learn to work on your color work, stranding technique, you know. The way I do it is I generally hold the yarn in my left hand, and that way, I don't know, I just find that it ends up being a better gauge, you know, more steady. What's the word I'm trying? I need more even texture. When I tried doing it in 2 hands, which I did for quite a while, I just found that the one, it just didn't, I had to constantly adjust like more than I do now. So I like this method. Usually I like it. Depends on the yarn that I'm using though. Sometimes if it's too slippery, then I'm constantly readjusting the tension. So it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system, but it works pretty well. I did want to mention that I made that pom-pom for the hat, and I'm not a great pom-pom maker, so it's I find that it's a little loosey-goosey, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't use a pom-pom maker. I just used a couple of rolls of, toilet paper rolls, and I found a method on YouTube. And it worked fine, but I'm not sure. Maybe I didn't really need to make a pom-pom, but it looks cute, I guess. And the yarn choices, I mean, I just picked out something from my stash, and I didn't have to go buying anything. Most of it is Barocco vintage, which is really good yarn for making for little kids because it's so washable. So anyway, yeah. I wonder where, oh, there she is. Okay, cool. Yeah, I thought it was gonna look good. Yeah, it looks really good. Those plums are practically the identical color. I was actually on the verge of like maybe giving it away because I have a friend who's like much smaller than you are, and than I am too, in fact. Anyway, when I started it, which was like last year, I guess I was under the false impression that I was smaller than I am. So I did the wrong size. Like I should have done a size 42, and I did a size 40. I'm a 42-inch bust. I hate to say it, but there you go. Yeah, this person is much slimmer than both of us. I thought, she would wear it well. Well, I'm certainly a 40. I don't know about you. It must be really tight on you, but I find it's not bad. Where are the buttons? No, the pattern doesn't call for buttons, and I guess it's not supposed to really cross over at the front. I might try to show you a picture of the way the woman wears it right here on the cover of the pattern, because it kind of looks just the way it looks on you right now. It doesn't close, and it just sort of hangs open. It's not supposed to have buttons. By the way, if you think it's I think you should check your measurements, because I'm pretty sure we're the same size. Well, whatever. I've been a 40 forever, so I'm going to take this off and rummage around to see what else you have in your tickle trunk. All right, go nuts. I'm going to talk about my tulips socks, and I'll see you later. She's funny. I can't believe she thinks we're different size. I mean, I'm sorry, but people have always said we looked alike. I mean, I can see it around the eyes mostly, but yeah, we're definitely the same size. Anyway, so yeah, so I gotta show you my socks that I've been working on. Well, I made one of them, and I've showed it to you before, so I'll just show you the finished one again, which I quite like. I made the heel flap a little bit longer this time than partly is because I am using 72 stitches with my 2mm needles, so it's quite a nice dense fabric, so I needed to go up a few stitches to fit. But okay, so now I'm on the second sock, and I'm just finishing the heel, and I'm almost on the home stretch. I'm doing the decreases after the heel. And actually I decreased on the first sock right down to 64 stitches because, yeah, I knew that it was going to be too big if I kept it up at 72. Up here it worked well, especially because of the color work. In fact, it's still a tiny little bit snug there. I think even though I did a fairly good job of the floats, I think. But yeah, it's trying to do just not as, it just doesn't have as much give as regular knitting. So I'm glad I did the 72 stitches, but now I'm going to go down to 64, and hopefully it will work on this sock as it did this one, which fits me quite nicely. This is such gorgeous yarn. I have to tell you what it is. Let me just check. It's called Premium Merino Yak by Schackenmeyer in Anthracite and Kiesel Milliert or something. I don't know what that's probably German. I'm not very good. And the red is a unicorn tail that I bought at the same time. I bought this all at Espace Tricot back in the winter. I'm so slow at doing socks these days. I just only do them here and there, you know. But it's just actually quite fun to do. The stripes kind of keep you motivated to carry on, you know. And I made this up. I really made this up, this pattern. But I can't say that it's my own idea, because I was looking at Espace Tricot. I was over at their store, and they were showing this beautiful store sample made out of this yarn, and it was called Longing for Gotland by Sophia Kammerborn. And they were such pretty socks, but I thought to myself that they just inspired me to try to make something similar, but, you know, sort of my own idea, my own design, because they had, instead of sort of whatever these are, tulips, that's what I call them, they were roses, and I mean, it's slightly different anyway. But I thought, you know what, I could do that, because, you know, I know how to do the cuff. I mean, I just tend to, when I make socks, is I use them as a little canvas for creativity, you know, just kind of figure out what I want to do, grab a heel pattern from one pattern that I've already done, and the toe from another one, and I just make the socks. I mean, it's really not, I feel like I don't really need to buy another pattern for socks, you know what I mean? Especially because I have so many patterns that I haven't used yet. I don't know if you're like this, but I tend to buy patterns on Ravelry that I love, and I also want to support the makers, the designers. I really do. Like, that's important to me, but there is a limit. I have so many that I haven't in. So I have them all on my iPad, and I just couldn't bring myself to buy one more, especially something that I figured I could manage on my own. And it worked out really well. I'm very happy with it. But I do want to put in I'm going to put the picture of the original pattern in here, so that if you like it, you'll go and buy it if you want, because it's a gorgeous little pattern. So what else am I doing? Yeah, so with this one, I think I decreased down to 32 stitches, 16 on each side, and then I did the Finchley graft, which is a really good method for clothes. It's like the Kitchener stitch, but it's like easier. I'm telling you. I mean, obviously if you're comfortable with Kitchener stitch, then carry on. Like, it's not a big deal. But I'm also comfortable with the Kitchener stitch. But I always like to try new things. And I went on Roxanne Richardson's site. I watch her quite a lot, and on her YouTube channel, and she was showing this Finchley method, and I really liked it. It's so easy. So check it out. I'll put a link down below. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but whatever. Oh yeah, another thing I've really enjoyed about the sock is that I decided to try using a new method in my ongoing mission to avoid purling, or to find a better way to purl. On this sock, I was doing backwards knitting instead of purling, which is something that I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I often end up using it for things like straps, like if you're doing a tank top, or straps for a bag, where you're going back and forth on like 10 stitches or something like that. It's hardly worth turning the whole piece around every single time, you know. So there are methods out there on YouTube to show you how to knit backwards, and I actually find it just as easy as purling. I don't even know why people don't do it more often. in fact, when I say just as easy, I find it better than purling. I don't know why, but I find it more comfortable, and I think I could really get a speed up once I'm used to it. So I started using it on this, and I think it makes it more fun to knit socks, frankly, because that's one of the things I don't like about it, because you have to purl when you get to the heel. Anyway, I'm just a suck. I don't like purling. I've told you that a million times, or whoever you, my faithful watchers, have seen me complain about purling. But I'm always looking for new things to try anyway. So, and I know I'm kind of not every knitter's like that, but I have a feeling, I was thinking about it because somebody was saying, oh, you always like to try new things. Well, I think partly is because I'm not afraid of trying something new and kind of get excited about it, because I'm so used to practicing. You know, I'm practicing my music, practicing pieces that I have to learn. I just know that it takes practice to get better at something, and it doesn't bother me, you know. Whereas I think maybe some people find it a bit intimidating or something, but I don't generally have that reaction. So I'll probably go back to Portuguese knitting for really long rows, Portuguese purling, I mean, because I do like that technique. That's probably my favorite purling technique. It's the fastest, the most comfortable that I've found. Well, let's see now. Yeah, okay, so since Zoe's still not back, she's probably rifling through all my stuff. Yeah, she's probably deep into my garment collection. I do have quite a few sweaters and stuff. So yeah, I started this pattern called Painting Chevrons, and it's by Stephen West. And it's a sort of rectangular shawl. I was originally thinking of making like 2 of them and sewing them together to make kind of a blanket, but I'm not sure, first of all, whether it would be wide enough even, and also I'm not sure if I can bring myself to make a whole, like 2 of these. Anyway, it's a lot of fun though, but it's something that I'm going to work on over the winter. I'm not going to like rush through it. I just love that. Doesn't that be beautiful? I love it. So I had to buy the black in that you use in between, but which is this one. Here we go. Amelia et Philomène. It is Adelina. 70% merino, 20% yak, 10% nylon. So I guess I'm on a yak kick right now. And then colorway is called Peut-être demain, which means maybe tomorrow. And I don't really know why it's called that, but but it's hand dyed in Orford, which is not far from here. And I love it. It's such nice yarn, and I needed to buy something for those, you know, to make the frame for the whole shawl. But all the rest of it is just my stash remnants, and I have a lot of them. I won't go through all of them, but I've got some sweet paprika, which is also a local yarn. I've got some hedgehog fibers in banana legs. This is also sweet paprika. This gray here, this gray blue, is polka dot sheep, which is a nice yarn as well. I think it's got some silk in it. And this is koi goo in the pink, and the purple is sweet Georgia, and I believe this blue is polka dot sheep as well, and the green is what is that? It's a bright green, and I forget what it is. It might be koi goo also. Anyway, I just ended up going through all of them. I have 9 different colors. So, and I'm not sure I'm going to have enough for the whole thing, like of each one. So I may end up just like, I have similar things. So I'm hoping that no one will notice if I change the colors slightly. I don't think it'll be a big deal because it's that kind of a project. Now, I really love this. It's fun to make, and you finally do end up being able to memorize the pattern, but it does take a little while. And I had they tell you to put markers all in between here, and it's a good thing to have them, but it's also kind of a pain. So eventually I got rid of the markers once I had the hang of the pattern. But I still end up, missing a decrease or an increase sometimes. So, yeah, so that's not ideal, but it's way easier to knit it without those stupid freaking markers on there all the time. Yeah, and so I've been using the backwards knitting technique instead of purling in this whole thing. Oh, that's the back side, which is also pretty cool looking, isn't it? Yeah, you see the colors more than the black on the back side. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that backwards knitting technique. So if you're one of the adventurous type of knitters, you might want to try that. Hello there, knitters. This is Vivian from The Guilty Knitter, and I just decided to insert this tutorial into my podcast today because I'm talking about backwards knitting using my Painting Chevrons Shawl project by Stephen West. And so yeah, I'm always looking for a way to avoid purling. So I'm trying it out on this project. So what you do is you don't turn your work when you get to the end of the knit row. You keep the right side facing. And so in this case, I'm holding the yarn in my left hand because I'm a continental knitter most of the time. And I have not perfected this technique using my right hand, so I won't be showing that. But all right, so what you do is you put the the left needle into the stitch on the right needle, into the back of it. Yarn goes around that way. And you pull that stitch over and off. Let's try it again. So it goes in the back, the yarn goes over this way, from left to right, you could say, and then off. One more time. Goes in there, this goes around, and that goes over. This one goes in, that goes around, that goes over, and off. Into the right needle at the back, the yarn goes around and off. So you can see it's really quite simple, and I would recommend it highly. It's quite fun. Give it a try. Happy knitting. Well, I'm finding it no problem actually, so maybe I'll keep doing it, but maybe I will do it for really long rows, but this is what, 130 stitches or something like that, I think. Something along those lines. So that's pretty long, really. All right, so, oh, here comes Zoe again. Oh, you're wearing my, what the heck's that one called? Shoot, I'll have to write the name of it down underneath. Sorry, it took so long. I was looking at all your shawls and your sweaters. You've got tons. Plus, your stash is ridiculous. You don't need to buy any more yarn ever, right? Well, I know I have a lot of stash. I know. Well, don't exaggerate. I have lots of yarn. But try making a sweater out of what I have. It's like... Well, it looks like I'm one of these people that goes to the store and buys like one skein of yarn. And I do that over and over again. So I have like a ton of one-offs. But I don't buy, sweater quantities except once in a while. And then, I really need to have a real sweater in mind, or else I won't buy it. So, but I did decide, I do have one sweater quantity, and I bought these two, which I think I may have shown you last time, but anyway, I just haven't started yet, but I'm making a sweater out of these colors. This is the main color, by Jennifer Beal, and it's called Lance au Loup, sorry. Which is a place in Newfoundland, I guess. She names all her patterns after place names from Newfoundland, where she's from. Anyway, I love her patterns, and this is my first one that I'm actually gonna knit. God help me, I'm gonna knit it. So you like that one, eh? Yeah. I love it. Oh, it's called Sun Daughter.
I could take it home since you have so many others.
Well, maybe. I mean, I do have lots of them, I guess.
Come on.
I guess you could, maybe you could take it home for a while.
Yay!
Woot! For a bit. But I really love that sweater, so. Alright, so that's on my queue. Oh, I also have to finish my Garden Gate sweater.
That's a good one.
You'd be happy to know that I have another sweater on my needles, but I had to undo a whole bunch of it. I finished the whole body for the Garden Gate, and then it was way too big. So I just frogged way back to where very end of the colourwork yoke. And I do love this. I'm looking forward to being able to wear it. So I want to get back into it. So I have to, I'm almost at the, I wanted to actually redo some of the very last bits of the colourwork because it was puckering a lot, actually, just for some reason, those last few bits. So, yeah, so I decided to go back and I'm going to do it again, but better this time. And pretty soon I'll split, I mean, I only have a few rows, and then I'll split for the sleeves and yada yada, finish the whole thing. So I made that out of this kind of stuff, Tinda, Norsk Pelselgarn, which I assume means something about yarn. Garn is yarn, I think, in Norwegian. And this is the Mork Rosa colorway. Anyway, I love this color. Woo, so pretty. Of course, you can probably see that I have a bit of a penchant for pink. Yeah, I know. Surprise, surprise. And this one's what is this? Some sort of gray, obviously. Light gray tweed is what they call it. Anyway, it's a lovely, beautiful color. So I'm excited about that, and excited to finish this whenever I manage to finish it. But like, this is gonna be not too bad. Like, I should be able to finish this fairly soon, although the needles are not that big. What is this? 3.5? 3.5. Good Lord. It is really not. The thing is, I had to go down a needle size because it was so big. I might even still have to decrease because it was just too big. Anyway. All right, I think we're coming to the end of my podcast. And, oh, but I do want to tell you about, but Lance Olu, if you're interested in that pattern, go check out the, oh, that's my dog making those little noises. Not my dog, actually, my friend's dog, who's staying over for the afternoon. This is Rosie back down here, and she wants some attention of some kind. Probably some food would be good at this point. Yeah, so yeah, go and look at the Fruity Knitting podcast. I think it's the last one, and she talks a lot about knitting Lazulu, and that's kind of where I got the idea. She did a beautiful version. Andrea did a beautiful version. I also have a podcast recommendation, which I haven't done for a long time, and I've been really into podcasts during COVID, and one of the ones I've really liked is called Design Matters, and it's been around for 16 years now. She's really good, and I recommend it. She has a lot of interesting people on, like, not always people whose names I knew, but they're always really interesting, so do check her out. Design Matters, and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, I think I'm going to say goodbye. Thanks for coming, Zoe. I really do appreciate your being here, and we'll hopefully see you again. Okay, goodbye. This was fun. I'll drop in longer next time. Okay, whenever you get lonely, I'm available. If you like this podcast, please share with a friend. Bye. Of course, I had my doubts about the colors. Yes. Thanks a lot for mentioning it. She's always criticizing. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we like her. I like her anyway, but she criticizes all the time. Yes, you do. No, I'm not joking. You do. But, yeah. I I like you anyway, so don't worry about it. I don't know if you noticed that I'm in a different spot in my house, but it's actually the same room, but a different view. And now you get a really good view of our bar right behind us. Oh no, we don't have a drinking problem. It's not a problem. We just have an assortment of things always at the ready. Anyway,